Number Theory, Section 2, Prime Numbers. Video 3, Finding Highest Common Factors. The highest common factor, which is often abbreviated HCF, of two or more positive integers, is the largest integer that divides each of the integers. So, for example, the highest common factor of 84 and 140 is 28. The highest common factor is also known as the greatest common divisor. Now, you might have worked this out when you were younger by working out the factor trees and looking for the prime factors, or you might have just listed all the factors and found the one that was higher. So, for example, 84 is equal to 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. And 140 is 2 times 2 times 5 times 7. So if I want common factors, the 2 times 2 times 7 is common to both. 2 times 2 times 7 is 28. But the idea of this course is to let the computer do the heavy lifting for us. With small examples like this, it's fairly easy to work out the highest common factor, but when the numbers get bigger, it's much better if we can get the computer to do it for us. So let's have a look at how we could do this. Here's an example of a program for finding the highest common factor in Python. So we start by defining our function, and this time, instead of just having one parameter n in our function, we've got two parameters a and b, because we want to find the highest common factor of a pair of numbers. Now we start by setting a variable called h equal to 1, because 1 is a factor of any two integers. And now we're going to look to see if we can find a higher common factor. So we start at 2 and we go up to a plus 1 in our range, so that means that we're going from 2 to a inclusive, and then for each value of I we are checking to see if it is a factor of both a and b. So if a gives a remainder of 0 when it divides by I, and b gives a remainder of 0 when divided by I, that means that I is a common factor of both a and b. And so it will go all the way up until it gets to a, checking to see whether it has found a higher common factor. And then whatever it set the value of h to by the time it gets to the end of the program is what it returns at the end. Let's have a look at the program in the shell. So I start by defining my highest common factor function, which is going to take two parameters a and b. I start by setting a variable called h equal to 1, because 1 is a factor of any number, and then I check all of the values I in a range from 2 up to a plus 1 to see if I is a factor of both a and b. So if I get a remainder of 0 when I divide a by I, and I get a remainder of 0 when I divide b by I, that means I is a factor of both a and b, so I want to set h equal to I. And then it will continue to go through the range looking for factors which are both factors of a and factors of b. And then I need to come out of that indentation so that I can finish the program by returning the value of h, which will be 1 if it hasn't found any common factors, but it will be the highest common factor if it has found one. Let's test the example that we just tried. So, the highest common factor of 84 and 140 gives the value of 28. If the highest common factor of a pair of integers is 1, it's got a special name. We say that they are coprime integers, and that's a piece of vocabulary that is going to be used within this course. In this video, you've learnt the definition of highest common factor, you've learnt the definition of coprime, and you've learnt how to write a simple program to find the highest common factor of two numbers.